Hello, good evening, and welcome to Love Talk. As the new 21st century epidemic of porn enters homes everywhere, mobile devices everywhere, there are people who are now getting married and their vows should say, "Until porn do us part." Today, we'll be talking about this and see how a couple came out of this situation having suffered and struggled with this in their relationship.
A true story. They were very brave to come on the show and share their story. And I'm sure that it will help our viewers at home.
Indeed.
Somehow.
In a few moments, you're going to meet Tyrone and Angela, who are here in the studio with us. But for now, we want you to see this interview we did with Owen Redahan, a counselor who deals with people who struggle with these issues. And you're going to see what he had to say on the subject.
Hi, today we are here with Owen Redahan, a London-based counsellor, and I came here today to ask him a few questions to do with this problem called pornography. He does work with in other areas, not just sexual problems. Is that how? Could I just say that? Correct, yeah. But today I would like to ask him a few questions. Are you ready?
I'm absolutely ready. Yes.
So basically, have counsellors seen an increase on people visiting in regards to this problem, this big thing called pornography?
Yes, well, porn addiction has been increasing. The number of people coming to see therapists about this problem has increased over the past 10 years or so. And that's for two reasons. One is because it actually has become a much bigger problem. But secondly, it's also more recognized as a problem. So there's more publicity around it. So programs like this will help make people realize that they could be addicted to porn rather than just looking at it for 2 or 3 hours a day.
Right. So would you say that this is from people that you've spoken to before or from what you see, do you think this is really causing big problems in relationships, or are we just making a big thing out of nothing?
No, it is a big problem for the relationship. First of all, you can be addicted to porn, and unlike other addictions where it can be picked up easier, if somebody's addicted to drink and then they get drunk and they come home drunk, porn addiction can actually be hidden quite easily. So it can come as a shock to the partner if they discover that the person is addicted or is on the web looking at porn. Initially, it probably won't be thought of as an addiction. And even if the partner says, well, I think I'm addicted to it, that is also not often accepted. It's just, you're looking at porn, you shouldn't be looking at porn. What's wrong with our relationship? And, what's wrong with me as a person? Am I not sexually attractive to you?
Do you think this is affecting more women or men, or is it the same? What do you think?
Interestingly, the internet's been around for, 10, 12 years now. And initially, porn was very focused on men. And that's because men tend to look at sex on a visual basis. Women tend to, although we have learned more and more that women actually are stimulated by visual, but there's an intimacy involved as well. But what has happened most recently is we've been looking, and it's estimated that about a third of people who look at porn are now women. And of those women, probably 20%, 1 in 5, are addicted to porn. The greater problem, of course, is with men, because there's a large group of men looking at porn, and they have started looking at porn at an earlier age. One of the concerns I have is that because internet porn has been with us for about 12 years, you have teenagers who grew up with just that. And they're now in their mid-20s, and I think there's going to be this huge awareness of the addiction to porn over the next 5 years and the difficulties that it poses for relationships. And therefore, if you have a young man who's been looking at this and seeing, women who are very, very attractive, it can be more difficult if they go and meet somebody who is a wonderful person but doesn't live up to their imagining what they've seen. So there is that, but it's more complicated than that. It isn't just porn, in fact. It's the whole change in society. Society has this expectation of, instant gratification. So I want sex now, whereas before
they want everything now. Look at technology.
Exactly. No, exactly. They want everything now, and also the attention span is less. and also the feeling of I have to commit to this or I have to work on it. Relationships take work. It isn't just instant. It isn't just, oh, we have great sex and everything's fine after that. In fact, once the sex becomes a little bit more normal after the first 3 to 6 months, then you're beginning to look at the person and saying, do I like that person? Not do I physically like them, but do I like the person? And that's where relationships can get strained. And that's why a lot of relationships break down at that stage.
As a counselor, what would your advice be to someone like this? What should they do?
If watching porn is disrupting your life, if it is taking over your life, then you need to get help. You need to get it sorted out, because in that situation you have an addiction, and an addiction will control your life and cause great problems.
Okay. So it's always wise to see a counselor or someone who can help.
Someone who can help. Indeed. There are now groups set up. There are sex addict groups set up. There are porn addict groups set up as well. But people should go and look for help.
Okay.
Well, this is what we're talking about today. And you see that this has become an increasingly huge problem right now. And part of the problem is that no one is really talking about it that much for the fact that it's something recent, and people feel embarrassed to talk about this. And so I want to commend Tyrone and Angela for the courage of being here.
Indeed. Thank you very much for coming.
You guys were a little bit nervous. How do you feel now?
Okay now.
Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Now, I know that your relationship struggled a lot in the beginning, or at some point, because of pornography, right? And a lot of people think it's quite harmless to look at pornography and so on. How did porn become a problem for you? Do you want to start, Tyrone?
Yeah, sure. It started off at a young age. It started off probably when I was about 9, and pornography wasn't accessible as it is today, whereas obviously it's on the internet now, but it was videos back then, it was hidden. It was hidden, like the older generation would watch it, but then we would find it, and it would be like a fun thing to watch. And as I got older, it started to become more of like you're growing up, you're a young boy. It's seen as everyone does it, and you tend to think, okay, it's fine, it's not a problem. If everyone's doing it, then it's not a problem. And from my school days to my college, it's funny because we would pass around pornography like it was games, like it would be DVD or videos or.
Like, have you seen this one?
Yes,
and even on movies.
Yes,
the kind of, there's movies. There's always a joke about pornography.
Yeah,
oh,
definitely.
You're watching pornography, so they're making it sound as if it's.
Yeah. So it got to that stage. So at that stage, it was just watching it for fun. Then it started to get to a point where, as I got older, I used to watch it coming back from college, before I could go to college. When I would be stressed out, it would kind of relieve my tension. It would kind of, there would be ways to kind of calm me down. So then that would be my outlet. So I'd go to porn. Where someone, for example, someone older would go for a drink, or they would smoke, or they would eat bad. Mine would be pornography, and that would kind of calm me down.
So initially it started as fun, and then as time went by, it started to take more time from your life, right?
Yes.
And the thing, of course, when you're single, it's still not good, of course, because it creates an image,
isn't it?
an image of what a sexual relationship is like, what women are like. But then when you're in a relationship, it can start to cause serious strain, serious problems.
Yes, definitely.
What kind of problems did you see that, or did that bring to your relationship?
Well, when we first started going out, obviously it was hidden, and she didn't know about it.
Did you feel embarrassed about it?
Yes, I did. It was very much because when you watch pornography, you're alone. It's hidden. It's kind of like it's in the dark, and it was kept from her. And I think as I kept on watching it, what happened? It started to kind of warp my mind. It's kind of like I would want her to do things in the video or look a certain way, and because she wasn't doing that, my perspective of her would change. So the way I'd act, the way I'd feel, my communication changed as well, wasn't it? Yeah, it changed completely, and I just started to look at it a different way, and in the sense our intimacy kind of reduced because I wasn't getting that satisfaction as what I was watching in the videos.
She was a normal woman, isn't it? She is a normal woman. You're still here. Hello, but you know.
And the thing is, you said something really interesting, because a lot of people say that porn can be used to spice up the relationship. It didn't spice anything up. It actually, you said it reduced the intimacy.
Definitely. So what some people, like you said, couples do is they watch porn to make it more exciting, but then there's extreme to it. There's extreme. You could watch it so much, and you look at a woman so much. Then what we do was deter myself away from my wife or my partner at the time, and yeah, it was.
Angela, you've been very quiet.
I was just gonna chip in. I mean,
I'm sure you have a lot to say.
Yeah, I mean, funnily enough, I did kind of. I mean, there was a couple of times when I found out about it. There was a couple of times, let's watch it together, because that was what people would do. They watch it together to spice up the relationship. And at that time,
so to continue, what happened? Did you find out? Did he tell you about it, or?
No, I found out. I think I caught you, didn't I? I'm pretty sure that I caught him watching it, or I think I found a video, because he used to have hidden videos in his bedroom, you know.
And was it like you wanted to watch it together so you wouldn't lose him, or so that he could see that you were interested in making things better?
Yeah, that was it. I think it was just I wanted to be part of it. I wanted to be part of what he was doing, and he didn't want to. You know, that wasn't his interest. He wasn't interested in doing that, and there were lots of times where we would communicate, and I would say to him, why are you watching it? What is it that you like about it? And the conversation kind of came to a stop, because he didn't want to talk about it. He didn't want to go any further. And then, then it got to a point where I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. So, when obviously...
Like many women, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here? What is this thing that really keeps...
Exactly.
My man, you know?
Yeah.
So what we want to find out in the second half is that, first of all, I know that from knowing the story of both of you, that porn had two kind of effects on you, Angela, because initially you became interested in it and you wanted to know more about it. So I want you to talk to us about that in the second half, but also the negative effect that it eventually had, which you touched on. And the thing is, porn always has a negative effect. Yes. There is, no matter what people say, there's no positive about it.
No, and also I was going to ask him, I know we're running out of time, but for example, I'm sure that at some point you didn't see this coming. The problem, it was just for fun and everything. But anyway, we'll save this for the second half.
So don't go anywhere, because in the second half you heard a lot from Tyrone. In the second half we're going to hear from Angela, but eventually how they manage to change things, because right now things are good, right?
Oh, great.
Very. Yes.
Okay, so don't go anywhere, because we'll be right back. Welcome back. Now, we said before the break that we heard quite a bit from Tyrone, although there's a lot more to come. But we're going to hear now from Angela. Because Angela, initially you wanted to see what all the fuss was about porn, right? But eventually it started to creep into your life as well. Tell us what happened.
Well, I kind of started watching some of the videos that he was watching, and initially the thought that was in my mind was, how can I be more like them? So there's obviously something that's attracting him. How can I be more like them? And it came as time went on. I realised that I couldn't live up to that expectation. I couldn't compete with any of that. And then the arguments started coming in, because I would try to stop him from watching the porn, and there'd be times when even I'd be in the house and he'd watch porn, and I knew that he was watching it. It made me feel so inadequate, so rejected, just completely low.
Yeah, he's in the next room with another woman.
That's exactly. I used to say the same. I used to say those words to him. I used to say, you might as well be, cheating on me with somebody else.
Now the problem is, Tyrone, is that a man doesn't really know all these things that are going through the woman. Did you know that she had these things going through her head, or?
Not really. Well, when we started to argue, that's when I started to notice it. I guess. Yeah, no, it was arguments, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was a lot of arguments.
Was.
And when there would be times where we just wouldn't talk, and then I'd be thinking, okay, I've gone too far. But it's like I said, even with myself, it became such an addiction where you said I would be watching it in another room when she would be in the house. And that's how kind of extreme it got, because before, where as I used to watch it, it would be on my own. Andrew would be either at work or at college. But then it got to the point where she would be at home. And it's kind of like I wouldn't even care. It's like it got to that stage where I don't even care. And then, what is it? It was like that,
yeah,
wasn't
and
it?
then obviously, as time went on, I started watching it on my own, on the internet, and it got to the point where I realised I was addicted, because it would even get to the stage where I couldn't go to bed, I couldn't sleep without watching. So then he didn't know about this until I think probably about a year ago. So I was very afraid to talk about it. I wouldn't talk about it to anybody.
Just as he was afraid to talk to you. Can you see?
I was afraid.
Because deep down it's a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
Now, here's what I want to ask you. This is the important part, because a lot of people argue, and Elena just touched on, that it's something bad. But it's something bad because there's no benefit from watching it. And where did you feel that it was a problem? When did you come to realize, hold on, this is damaging my relationship?
Me?
You who wants to start first?
Okay, I'll start. I guess it was this, my faith. My faith kind of made me realize what I was doing was wrong. Like I said, whereas before I would watch the pornography, before I would think it was nothing. But as I started to watch it more and more, and as I got stronger in my faith, I started to become convicted of myself. I started to realize, you know what, this is not right. That something was telling me this is not right.
But you could see before that it hadn't brought any benefits to your relationship.
Not at all.
You couldn't see.
No.
I could see
You
more.
could.
Yeah, I saw that it was, it was destroying us, because the communication would get worse. We would, we would kind of have a really bad atmosphere in the house, and we weren't like we are now. My gosh, like, we're so different now. I trust him. I didn't trust him then. I felt I was always jealous anytime he was on the phone, even with his work. I hated his job because he would talk to women. So
we could even compare it to a drug, really, because usually the user doesn't think it's a problem. Or the person who has alcohol problems, they always say, no, I'm fine, this is nothing, it's just something on the side. But you see,
and you were telling us earlier that you would feel like this huge high when you were watching it, but then this huge crash. How did you feel afterwards?
Yeah, like I said, it was like a drug, and you'd be doing everyday functions, and all of a sudden this urge would just hit you, and you'd want to watch it. No matter, you could be walking down the road, and I'll just want to watch it, and then I'll go home. It's kind of like the adrenaline. It's like an adrenaline, and you'd watch it, and afterwards you'd feel good, and then after that I'd feel really bad. The low would just hit me, and I would always say to myself, Tyrone, this is the last time. I'm not going to watch it anymore.
But you would say, no, I'm not addicted.
Yes, of course, of course. And this kind of just touching on that before, where you said when I was watching it in the house. I would think I'm not cheating. Like where she said, obviously it's videos. I would think it's not cheating. I'm only watching the video, so I'm not physically doing it. So, but realistically, my mind is doing it. So I'm not physically.
And the question most people will ask is, you guys loved each other, right? So why do this? Why destroy your relationship like this? I mean, you loved each other then, right? You love each other now. Do you think it was just something that you were so used to doing that you didn't know how to stop, or why you would stop?
I think that I know now, obviously through being addicted, it's very hard to stop. It's not something you can control as easily as I thought. I say to him, oh, you need to stop. But then when it was me, I realised, hang on a minute, I can't just stop. And
I just want to ask a question, maybe to him, because he was addicted for longer. Maybe if you've had the same experience,
Brace
let me
yourself,
know. No, it's nothing.
We're ready.
No. I just want to ask you:
No, sure.
Did you ever lose anything because of that addiction, apart from the problems that you had?
No.
After you got married, or I mean, when you were together, even.
No, I didn't lose anything. Thankfully, I didn't lose. It didn't get to that extreme.
Okay.
I guess it was more so as we got stronger in our relationship. I guess I obviously when I got stronger in my faith.
Okay.
It stopped me. It kind of put it at halt, and I was like, okay, I could lose my wife. I could lose my wife. I could lose everything that I had. My reputation, my reputation. I'm very much a person. I like my reputation to be very like firm and strong, and I would fear that if I did something like that, not that anyone would know, it'd be a personal thing.
Yeah.
It wouldn't seem right.
And here's what I want to know. She has a question.
I have a question.
Actually,
I haven't finished.
Someone asked in a forum, which is the most important question. But just something before she goes into that, because that should be the last thing, the main point. A lot of people would say that, if you watch porn, it helps with your intimacy and so on. But how would you compare your intimacy and your closeness now compared to then?
Oh my gosh, it was bad then. There was hardly any intimacy. It was literally just sex, and now it's the opposite. We are so close.
It's like we were more emotionally connected now.
Yes,
whereas before it was just seen as an act.
Yes.
And now it's
exactly.
So
it's much stronger now.
How long have you guys been free from this?
I've been free for about 2 years.
I've been through about a year.
And since then your relationship has gotten better.
Yes, much better.
Definitely.
And it's only going to get better and better, isn't it?
Definitely.
Like
I think I was explaining to you before, because my addiction was so strong. Obviously, there's times where my mind, I would think about it, but then whereas I'm stronger in my faith now, whereas previously I would give up. The thought is too strong, and I'll end up going back into watching pornography. Whereas now I'll just try and find ways to kind of deal with it and use my faith to kind of keep me away from it, and which has helped me.
And also because you have something so special now.
Yes.
That you're so connected and together. You don't want to jeopardize that with anything, right?
Not at all.
That's important. Do you want to ask a question, Lynn?
Yes, please. So basically, it's actually a very sad story. This man, which I'm not going to mention his name, he's 30 years old. He's been addicted to porn for 14 years. He lost his fiancée, whom he was for 4 years. He lost his job, which was a big career. He worked in a multinational company. He also lost a son. And he goes on and on. It's a very big, long story, saying how he feels and how he wants to get back with her. But now she's going to marry someone else because some years have gone by. She gave him lots of chances, but he never managed to overcome the addiction and so on. Now he wants to ask, what were the very first steps you guys took in stopping your addiction? In a practical way, and also
I guess to realize that it was an addiction, because like I say, a lot of people in denial and thinking, okay, it's not an addiction, it's fine.
So recognizing that it's an addiction.
And a lot of people are only understanding it's an addiction now because it's something fairly new, right?
Yeah.
So
people don't talk about it that much, isn't it?
Recognizing that it's not a normal thing. People think it's the norm, but it really isn't something that you just do. You get into it for all the wrong reasons. So when you realize, hang on a minute, this is not normal. It's not normal. It's not just a normal thing to do. I need to stop. It's causing problems. Just highlighting all the problems that it's causing. What are the benefits to it? Like you said, that there are no benefits to it. Just kind of looking at everything that it causes and
understanding what it's going to do to your life.
That's right.
But also in a practical way. What else did you do? I'm sure you don't have the movies in your house anymore, or
we have the internet. I mean, there's many things, like I put the safe search on, things like that, to make sure that no images will come up, because it would, when I was addicted, any image
would
trigger it. So doing things like that, and I would also feed myself with positive things. So watch positive things, watch things that are going to, you know, lift me up, you know, especially, you know, for me spiritually, you know, and yeah.
I guess for personally, I guess it's more so not to beat yourself up about. Obviously, you have an addiction, but at the same time, we're human, and at the same time, we have these urges, but it's how we deal with them. Okay, so it's when I used to watch it, and after I used to watch it, I used to feel really down. I feel like I'm rubbish. I can't do anything, and they're the lows that you would get to, and then you think, okay, what's the point? I might as well just watch it again. Whereas now, if you look at yourself and okay, you know what? It's not only me. There's a lot of people suffering, but I can get through it. And it's positive self-talk. It's positive self-talk, and if you can do that, then it's amazing.
And in your case, faith helped you a lot.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
And guys, I want to commend you and thank you for being here, because it's something that a lot of people don't talk about, and actually they should, because you know we can say all we want that porn is bad, but why is it bad? And you just showed us why it's bad, because as long as that was in your relationship, it brought nothing good with it, just problems and separation. It didn't spice up anything, right? If anything, it took away all the spice.
And it all started with curiosity. I wanted to make sure I said this. Curiosity killed the cat, and curiosity was killing a relationship. So it's like drugs. You've heard about it, it's not good for you, and why would you anyway? Just run away from it. Don't trust yourself. I'm just going to see what it's about, like you did, and look at what happened to you.
Do you feel less nervous now at the end of the program?
Okay now? I've got it off my chest.
Good.
Tyrone and Angela, look, I really want to thank you for being here. I'm sure that your story is going to help a lot of couples.
Indeed.
Okay, and I want to tell you that are at home, you know, you hear a lot of times that something is bad for you, and you can hear that all your life. You can hear that for years, and not know why. And sometimes you want to see for yourself that something is bad. Thing is, if a lot of people are telling you that it's bad, they're trying to save you the trouble of having to find that out for yourself. So why put yourself in that situation? You just saw here many reasons why porn is bad. So the advice is, think about how this is causing you problems, perhaps problems in your relationship. If you're single, sooner or later, this will catch up with you and will cause other problems in your future relationship. So why not deal with it now? Deal with it now so that you can eradicate this problem and move on. Okay? It's been a pleasure to be with you here. Until next time, have a wonderful evening.